Hey guys, welcome back to my garage. Last week we installed the monoposto seat and we removed the ugly OEM license plate holder on this beautiful 959 Panigale Corse. Today, on top of having a Panigale shirt on, we're gonna add some bling to the bike itself. We're gonna put sliders front and back. We're gonna put frame plugs up here. We're gonna put some tank grip, so to be able to lean in properly as it should with this bike. Also, just because we're gonna add a screen protector to the dash up front, and we're gonna remove this annoying play from the throttle. But enough with the chit chat, let's get on it. So we're gonna start with the frame caps over here. This is a very simple installation. The only thing you need to do, the manufacturer recommends to put a little bit of grease on the head of the bolt in here. And get some good quality grease. Any grease will do. This is just so that the aluminum, the red aluminum, does not deform or get scraped while you're tying it up. So at this point, as you guys can see, I did not let go, and then you just drop the screw in. Okay. This is a 3mm. You just put it on the frame. So the only thing you now have to do is to hold the CNC logo in place and tie this thing. Once it's in for good. Moving on to the other side. So let's install the rear slider. Those are CNC racing sliders, and one thing you need to pay attention is one of the two has a bigger circumference inside, a bigger hole, while this one has a restricted hole. Now the bigger hole is bigger because it goes on top of the axle nut, while this one goes only around this part. So when you put it in, that's how much it goes in. Another thing you need to notice, and as you guys can see I already put the nut on this one, is because I wanted to both screw to catch about the same amount of thread. So I did a little test here and there, and I figured that about 22mm of thread sticking out is gonna give you the equal thread on both sides. So at this point you can actually screw this in, tie this thing around like this. Now this is the most the rod is gonna go in, and when you get it through, so you pass it through the axle, you're gonna have about almost an inch to go in, or almost 22mm to go in, so that both sides actually grab pretty good. At this point you gotta tie both sides at the same time. I have the owner of the bike on that side holding that, and I'm gonna be on this side, and I'm just gonna make sure that they are as tight as they can be. Now remember, do not put too much thread lock in it, because you are actually covering the axle nut. You are going to need to access the axle nut eventually at some point, so just a little bitty thread lock in it so that next time you can open it up. The front is just the same as the back side when it comes to the slider. The only thing you need to pay attention is one of the pucks up front protrudes, and it obviously goes on the side with a big hole because it goes in this way. The other side has a hole in it is because, just like for the back, goes on top of the axle nut. Another thing you need to pay attention is the front kit comes with two different length screws, because this is a multi-motorcycle kit, so different Ducatis with different size axle. I found out that the 959 actually requires the longer screw. The longer screw is about a 1/4 inch longer. So this time around we're gonna give it about 3/4 of an inch of space of thread going in, and hopefully this side is gonna do the same. There you go. solid, moving on. Okay, it's now time to add the tank grips to the tank. So what you need to do before you apply the tank grips is remove the seat. Once the seat is aside and now you have the whole surface available, grab a microfiber towel with maybe a little bit of alcohol on it and clean the surface that is going to take the adhesive on both sides. I'm gonna warm up this side of the tank, and at the same time I'm gonna have to warm up this because I need to make the rubber follow all the contour of the tank itself. So let's warm it up, and I'll catch you guys when I'm done. Once you warm up both the tank and the pad, do a dry run. So now it's just a matter of getting the cover off and sticking it in. Obviously try not to get air bubbles trapped in it. There we go. Now at this point I'm gonna grab a tennis ball, warm it up, especially on the edges, and then go over it like this and make sure all the air bubbles come out. These actually came pretty good. This is one of the best installation I think I've ever done. They both are even and it looks great. So one thing is left to do. Let's put the seat back on, and that's it. Tank pads are on. Let's move on. Let's put a screen protector on the dash and finally take away this plane. The screen protector came with the throttle spacers, so since we have it, we're gonna put it in, but in my opinion, it doesn't do much unless you're always scratching there. But clean it up with a nice and soft microfiber towel. I do have this that came with my phone screen protector, so that's exactly what I'm gonna use. Nice and plenty, and we're gonna put it on, which is gonna be a pain. I'm gonna try to squeegee out most of the water. Just like for your phone, this is a giant pain. So second layer removed. Once you squeegeed out most of the bubbles, you just let it be, and finger crossed, because that's how it goes with screen protectors. So let's move on. We're almost done, and the last part of this installation is gonna be to remove the play from the throttle. There is this kit that is nothing more than two little plastic sleeves that go inside here. And how do we access here? With a Phillips screwdriver for those two screws, and with this weird 3-point head that goes in here for those two other screws. So I'm gonna get on it, I'm gonna remove them and see what's in there. Lost forever. At this point, the throttle assembly is gonna open up in about half, just like that. Get this side, put it here, and get the other side and slide it out slightly. Grab the two little red sleeves and put it on them. Okay, there is one on the bottom side, so we're gonna get this red thing, put it in there, and make sure it goes around like that. It's pretty much a sleeve that makes those stoppers thicker. Once we put the red sleeves on it, we just put everything back together. The only thing you need to pay attention is this little prong over here. There is a hole on the handlebar itself that this one goes in. Same thing goes for the little one on this side. So I'm gonna put them in. There you go, just like that. Then I close the back side to it. And you guys can already see that the play, it's completely gone. No play at all. quite amazing. So one suggestion, if you need some more room because you need to slide the hand grip, the throttle grip back a little more, what you need to do is grab a 12mm Allen key and loosen this thing up. When you lose this thing up, you can actually slide this handle back and forth a little bit more. So don't forget to put it back on. This turned out to be the easier installation of them all. I thought this one would be a little bit more complicated looking at the instructions than everything else. Instead, everything else has some sort of quirks that you gotta work around, like you gotta figure out the distance on the axle sliders, or you gotta figure out how to have those tied up in there because they keep rotating and stuff like that. While this one was really straightforward. You just put the new sleeves in, put everything back together, and you're done. So pretty pleased with the result. The throttle is firm. There is no play whatsoever. We are done for today. We installed the tank pad, we installed the frame plugs, we installed the sliders back and forth, and we removed that annoying slack on the throttle itself. And bonus, we put a screensaver on top of the dash, which is down there. It doesn't hurt anything, so sure, why not? But stay tuned because we have plenty more to come for this Panigale. The owner was nice enough to bring this bike in with a whole plethora of parts, so we're gonna put it all in. As always, if you guys like the video, like. If you guys love the video, subscribe. And if you really want to support the channel, there is a link down there. And also I'm gonna try to put links for most of the parts I installed on the bike today. Till then, ride on, and I'll see you next time. The next step is actually grab an air dryer. Dog barking, bomber plane going by, frogs and cats falling out of the sky. Armageddon is coming. Save yourself. Save yourself.